Kia ora, my name is Lloyd. I work for a tourism operator called Manea Footprints of Kupe. We are located in Opononi, Hokianga, which is in northern Aotearoa, New Zealand. We are effectively a guided experience, which tells the story of our great ancestor Kupe, who is widely believed to be the first Polynesian explorer to discover Aotearoa New Zealand around 1,000 years ago. Showing absolutely no bias, it would be Manea Footprints of Kupe. It's not the fact that I'm a descendant of Kupe, or the fact that I stand on a land where he stood around 1,000 years ago. For me personally, it's really helped me make sense and really brought to me the beginnings, I guess you could say, of Aotearoa New Zealand. So I have lived in an area for 30 years, had heard of Kupe and heard bits and pieces, but haven't been able to, I guess, make sense of everything. So Manea has enabled me to do that. It's expanded my mātauranga, my knowledge around Kupe, around our arrival, and even pre-arrival to Aotearoa New Zealand. I would use Manea Footprints of Kupe as an example. So we are effectively a non-for-profit organization. Our proceeds are returned back to the community. So we are owned by the Te Hua o Kauriki Trust, and which stands behind that trust is 4 marae. A marae is a communal sacred place, a place for people to stand, and a very sacred place for Māori. In a very practical sense, a marae would need a kitchen renovation. They would then put forward a quote to the Te Hua o Kauriki Trust, and obviously depending on the amount of money, etc., other things, they would then receive the money, to fulfill those renovations. So Manea is a great concept. Effectively, the money is returned back to the community because that's where these 4 marae sit. And at the very essence is providing economic benefit. So we tell the story of Kupe, widely believed to be the first Polynesian explorer to discover Aotearoa New Zealand around 1,000 years ago, traveling from an island called Aotearoa, located in the Eastern Pacific Ocean near Tahiti. Traveling here across the Pacific Ocean to Aotearoa New Zealand. We don't say he necessarily came to the Hokianga, which is where we stand first, but we do say that he spent a substantial amount of time here, and this is where he left from back to Aotearoa, where he passed on his navigational knowledge to his grandson Nuku Tawhiti, who then led a greater migration of Polynesian people to the Hokianga. At Manea, I guess we talk about the essence of Kupe's footprint, and where we stand today, or where you come to at the end of your experience at Manea. You get to look out across the Hokianga Harbour at all these different places which Kupe named, and the beauty of that is that even in the last 1,000 years, these places still stand and they have not changed significantly at all. Therefore, looking at what Kupe would have seen on his arrival here in the Hokianga 1,000 years ago. I guess the beauty of culture and heritage is that it can operate daily. We can operate all year round. We aren't affected, I guess, by the weather seasonality. More recently, within Aotearoa New Zealand, there has specifically been the opportunity to engage culture and heritage and education. I guess initially, and I use Manea as the example, it was initially based around international tourism, which is very seasonal. During this period, over the last 2 years, we have heavily, I guess, invested and relied on the education, so schools coming to visit Manea. So within that, the New Zealand histories has now become a major part of the school curriculum. So that is just an example of how we can stop the effects of seasonality within our industry. My advice would be, I guess, to ask yourself, what makes us unique as a country? It's not our beaches, it's not our scenery, it's not our cities, it's our culture, it's our Māori culture. Authentic experiences within Aotearoa should be a given. We as a people owe that to our culture, and when performing our stories, they need to be true and they need to come from a good place. So my advice would be to be brave. It's not necessarily about clicking X amount of tickets. It's about telling our stories with mana and with pride. So step out from under the shadow of mainstream tourism and embrace a culture that is unique to the world.